Good morning guys. Just want to show you the pound USD because currently the pound is strongest bubble, the dollar's second strongest, euro's third strongest. Okay, so just remember that. Now interestingly, on the pound USD we've got some supply and we've got head and shoulders as well, which is, you know, should be quite clear and quite obvious. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It's currently acting as a resistance. Also, what's interesting is that the fact that Dixie's done an inverse head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Now that line there is the 61.8 diagonal, which is there, right? And that's your 100%. And the way that that's calculated is from that angle there. So we know this is established in time. That's not going to change. So this is like a support. This is going to be a resistance. And we've got median line, and we've got the high, which is the B high, A, B, C, D. Even though it's a bearish harmonic, bearish ABCD, I think we're going to satisfy that confluence layer, and we're going to come up there, and then we're going to probably be a sell at that point. So we'll come up and we'll invalidate this harmonic, and we'll come up, and then I don't know what's going to happen. It might fall, it might go up a little bit then fall, but I think we're definitely going to get this. There's too many things pointing towards that. So bear that in mind. So we've got inverse head and shoulders on the dollar index, which is coinciding with the head and shoulders on the pound USD. We are a buy, and they went quite sideways on the sentiment, very, very sideways. So volume node there at 135. SLC above 136.21, 134.85. It's quite tricky. It might come down to that volume node. We might come down to the SLC. Inevitably, the Dixie is going to grind higher because, you know, the fundamental tapering, interest rate decision. They did a Reuters poll and they asked 50 analysts, 50 FX analysts about the dollar. They said it was going to have a good year. The yen was going to be quite stationary, the Swiss franc was going to fall, and but the dollar is going to outperform, simply for the fact there's going to be a lot of volatility due to uncertainty, and the dollar is going to do quite well out of that uncertainty. So that was the theory, the thesis for their that poll that I saw. So maybe they've got a point. It could do well when the other currencies are squabbling and they're fighting against each other. Look at the euro pound, for example. This could do well as long as they're battling each other and not battling the dollar. Then, you know, it might do well. So there's the pound USD. Currently resistance. Perhaps entertain a long if we break above this supply. 13557 ish, but currently holding, isn't it? So quite tricky. Do AU. Right, so there's monthly pivot, and we are a sell, right, and they went long there. Where did they cross the 50% line? Let's take those guys off actually. They went long there. Yeah, they went long, and so it fell. Of course, it's fallen quite a way, 75 pips, 74 pips, yeah. But yeah, you'd enter short when that line crosses the 50% mark, right? And then so they went long, so you'd sell. You try and do the opposite of those guys, you know, and have good risk management. You should be okay. The only thing is I'm a bit worried about is the size of the SLC above, and the fact that we should probably be going up because the risk sentiment, the risk calculation is very much risk on. For every one person selling indices. Buying indices, sorry, there's 18.9 people trying to short. So you think of like a room with one guy in that room, and there's 19 people in the room at the same time. One guy's doing one thing, and there's 19 people doing the other, and those 19 people are shorting risk. They're selling indices, and that one guy is long. So it's a very, very crowded room. I don't know if or not it's too extreme, because that's very, very skewed. So risk on really, but so this could do well, but you'd want it above monthly pivot. So if you wanted to go for long, wait for monthly pivot at 71.82, but we are a sell. So you know you really want to check the sentiment and technicals. Fundamentals can be a bit skewy. I mean, that might be very at the limit. You know, they're going to get stopped out, aren't they? These guys in that room, they're going to have to bail. They need to exit. So there is that, I suppose. It's tricky, and today's going to be a big mover as well. Dollar Swiss, we're above monthly pivot because that's what was reported yesterday. And remember what the Reuters poll said about the Swiss franc? It was going to depreciate 3%, so it's going to fall against its peers. 72.25, 92.25 even. Yeah, and 90.95 for a sell, but they are selling it over time. Right, so that's dynamically bullish. If they sell it, it'll come up. If they buy it, it'll come down. Alright, so that's a mismatch at the high level. If it continues, it's going to cross this 50% line and it's going to rocket. Alright, so be careful. Then pound, Euro USD. That's to load this data. It's a little bit slow. It's a lot of volume. Let's go to H4 because it's obscuring price a little bit. Hopefully it loads. Okay. It's volume node here. 113.26, volume node here, 112.86. So we might be caught in between those two volume nodes, and it's just going to absorb positions on the way up to NFP. Monthly pivot's at 113.31. SOC is fairly large at 113.95. One below is 112.80. We are a sell. Quite choppy on the sentiment, but they are leaning towards like a bullish sentiment. So if they're bullish, then we could probably do poorly. This can fall. If we can zoom in perhaps on that hourly, I think they're selling it actually. That black line is of interest. Yeah, okay, let's go tick these guys off. It's selling it ever so slightly. Not really much, is it really? So if they continue to sell it, will go up basically. Look at dollar yen. Monthly resistance 115.99, so on the round number pretty much. SOC above 116.40 and 115.59. We are a buy, and they're sideways as well. They're holding on to their bearish bets. Might be ticking up slightly. If it ticks up, then it will fall. Yeah, we're ticking up. So keep an eye on that level. That's definitely of interest. Go long above or short below, but just know your exit and you'll be alright. Okay, you might get chopped up on that line, but it's better than having large losses. And also you could just monitor today as well, because it's NFP and it's going to probably want to take stops out just because it can. Kiwi, if you want me to do any pair, just let me know. If you want me to look at any yen pair or like dollar CAD or anything like that, just give me a shout. 68.60, we're at this monthly pivot there, so remember that, and we are a sell. And the one below is 67.20. Perhaps just look at the indices. This is a good one to do. Maybe this one, maybe. US 30. Where are we? There's DAX. Could click DAX. So yeah, I mean, fairly well supported, aren't we? On DAX, so, and you know, we're in between the daily range low, dead bang in between, so it's quite bullish, and that would agree with this, right? And the VIX was crossed as well. So there's the DAX, well supported. It just looked left basically. It's going to be a buy here, it's going to be a buy there, and there, and there. Let's just do US 30 if I can find it. Where is it? Well, this US 500, that will do. Monthly pivot. Yeah, so we've got resistance up overhead at 47.14. Weekly range low we're coming up to, and monthly pivots there as well. So there's a confluence of support. That should probably hold the weekly range low. This is calculating a lot of data. We probably, maybe you could argue we've exceeded it already. But we are Friday, so exceeding the weekly range low wouldn't be that unusual. The dollar yen had exceeded it in 2 days. But this is Friday, so that might be okay. But keep an eye on your monthly pivot, 4694. Alright, if we have a close below monthly pivot, that could be bearish for next week. H4 perhaps. Yeah, it's saying that we're actually below the support. The next support's down here at 46.69. If you look right, look at that candle work. Zoom in. So this line, what we're looking at is this line here. Okay, so just a reminder, what you want to do is have a look at your come here and get these indicators, because they're absolutely amazing. The fact that we saw that was based on these indicators that you see here. So get a copy of these indicators. You want to look at the support and resistance. That's what we just used for this, and that's how we detected that support, right? So grab a copy of the indicators. This is one that is free. If you wanted to get the paid ones, you're more than welcome to use the QuasiDB code here, and it gives you a massive discount. You can do the annual, and it's just a ridiculous discount. It would cost you $359. It's actually $121 if you use that code. All right, so do use that. 100% recommended that you do that. You know, it gives you a big eagle-eye view of the market. So I'll be back later for NFP. Trade safely. Maybe you don't have to trade. You can just watch. It might be profitable just to watch. And I think gold is going to do fairly poorly. I think got that support though at 1784. Break 1784. We'll target MS1. Okay, and there's your SLC below as well at 1785. So this is like a double confluence. And I think the DXY is going to do fairly well, but we'll have to wait and see.